Few strategy RPGs are as legendary as Final Fantasy Tactics. First released in 1997, it redefined the genre with its deep tactical combat and politically charged storytelling, a combination so strong it still sparks debate more than 25 years later. Now, Square Enix is finally bringing it back with Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles. And if you've never played the original, I have two questions. First, what have you been doing with your life? And second, please answer that first question. This isn't just a nostalgia trip, it's a modernised revival of one of the greatest tactical RPGs ever made, and it's ready to steal your heart all over again. And here's everything you need to know before its upcoming release later this month. At its core, the game tells the story of Ramza, a young noble caught in a web of betrayal, war, and class conflict. Back in the 90s, this was groundbreaking. Today, those themes of corruption, faith, and social inequality are unfortunately just as relevant. It's slower and more deliberate than your traditional Final Fantasy games, but it rewards more careful planning and tactical thinking. For newcomers, Final Fantasy Tactics is a turn-based strategy RPG. Battles unfold on grid-based maps where positioning is everything. Every move counts. Will you push your knight forward to block an archer, or pull your healer back to avoid losing a key unit? Will a mage focus on blasting enemies or supporting allies with buffs? Imagine a scenario. Ramza's squad faces a group of mercenaries across a river. If you miscalculate movement or forget to counterattack, your healer could be the first casualty. But nail the positioning and timing, and you completely turn the tide of battle. That's a type of mental calculations that Final Fantasy Tactics rewards, and it's exactly why games like Disgaea and Triangle Strategy owe so much to this formula. This remaster doesn't rewrite the story, but it does enhance it. We're getting a stronger translation, and most importantly, full voice acting. Scenes that once unfolded entirely through text now carry emotional weight through fully realised performances.
Father.
There now, Alma. Do you want my last memory to be of your tears?
So, what's new in the Ivalice Chronicles? First off, you get two ways to play. Classic mode, that keeps those iconic PS1 pixels but uses the sharper PSP era script, so no more clunky translation. And secondly, the remastered mode, that modernises everything. Widescreen support, voice acting, streamlined menus, fast forward options, a turn order display, and previews that show your hit chance and damage before you commit to a move. The big point of debate is the art style. The remaster adopts a softer, hand-painted look. Some fans dislike it, saying it smooths out too much of the original's charm. Personally, I think it looks fine, and the more I see it, the more it grows on me. Would HD 2D have been gorgeous? Absolutely, but having both classic and remastered options is still a big win. The one drawback though is once you pick a mode, you're locked in. You can't switch mid-playthrough without restarting. This feels a little restrictive, but if you really want to see both, you can just play through twice. This isn't ideal, but at least there's the option there. But one addition I am a huge fan of is the lore tab, a catalogue of characters, factions, and timelines. It's a small thing, but it's incredibly helpful for keeping track of the game's dense political story. Of course, no Final Fantasy Tactics discussion is complete without talking about the jobs, the crown jewel of the game and one of the most flexible, beloved progression systems in RPG history. The system remains fully intact here, with over 20 classes, squires, chemists, ninjas, samurai, summoners, and even the wild calculators, you name it. The real magic comes from how you mix these skill sets. Every character begins in a basic role, like the squire or chemist. By earning job points in battle, you unlock new abilities within that job. As you master roles, you branch out into more advanced ones. For example, leveling both Knight and Archer can unlock the Dragoon, whilst combining Monk and White Mage might open up the path to Ninja or Samurai. Each unit has a primary job, the one you are actively leveling, but you can also assign a secondary skill set, any ability you've previously unlocked. That's where the system truly shines. Imagine a Knight who can also cast White Magic, tanking on the front lines whilst keeping allies alive, or a Ninja paired with Time Magic, darting across the map and manipulating the flow of battle. And the customization doesn't stop there. Every job also provides support abilities, passive effects like attack up for extra damage or move +1 for mobility. Then there are the reaction abilities, which trigger under certain conditions, like counter, striking back when hit, or auto potion, instantly healing yourself when you take damage. All of this layers together to create nearly infinite possibilities. It's a system built for creativity, experimentation, and some absolutely broken combos if you know what you're doing. Even to this day, very few, if any, tactical RPGs have matched this depth. Games like Fire Emblem and Triangle Strategy borrow these elements, but Final Fantasy Tactics hybridization and freedom remain unmatched, and this alone should be worth the entry cost. Now moving on, let's talk about one of the biggest additions, difficulty modes. The original game could be brutally unforgiving, especially for newcomers, but now you get the option between 3 difficulty settings. Squire for easier story-focused play, Knight a balanced middle ground, and Tactician, which keeps the original challenge intact and then some. Squire mode is essentially story first, perfect for newcomers. Knight feels closer to the original, slightly more forgiving, but still strategic and tense. And Tactician dials things up a notch, giving veterans the difficulty they remember. It has yet to be confirmed whether you can change difficulty mid-game, but I'd assume not, so choose carefully based on your experience within the genre. Now thinking back to the legacy of Final Fantasy Tactics, it's difficult to think how influential it truly has been. Games like Disgaea, Triangle Strategy, and countless indie projects owe a huge debt to its systems, but until now, it's been stranded on aging hardware. With the Ivalice Chronicles, Square Enix is finally making it accessible for a whole new generation. Honestly, I think the success of Triangle Strategy helped push this remaster forward, and I couldn't be happier. So how will this stack up against recent releases? Tactics Ogre Reborn faithfully preserved the classic. Triangle Strategy reinvigorated the genre with fresh ideas, and the Ivalice Chronicles feels like it's doing both, respecting the original whilst modernising it for today's audience. And it's not just for long-time fans. If you enjoy Fire Emblem, Triangle Strategy, Disgaea, Fell Seal Arbiter's Mark, or if you're just curious about where the tactical RPG genre really blossomed, this release is for you. For long-time fans, this is the polished return to Ivalice you've been waiting for. For newcomers, it's the most accessible entry point yet into one of the greatest tactical RPGs of all time. When it launches later this month, it won't just be a nostalgia trip, it will be the definitive way to experience Final Fantasy Tactics. So, will you be returning to Ivalice or experiencing it for the very first time? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe for more previews, reviews and eShop sales roundups. With that in mind, thanks for watching, stay cozy, I'll see you around.